Picture this. You've packed up the car, driven hours to get to the water, you finally hook into a solid fish, and then snap. The line just goes limp, you're left standing there, totally gutted, wondering what on earth went wrong. Why is it that 70% of weekend warriors lose their fish right when it matters most?
Well, I'll tell you right now, my friend, it has absolutely nothing to do with bad luck.
The painful truth here? The silent killers of your fishing trips aren't these super smart fish outwitting you. No, it's gear mismatches and poor setups. We're talking about slapping the wrong reel onto the wrong rod or using a line that literally fights against your tackle instead of working seamlessly with it. These little mismatches cause immediate breakoffs and lost catches before the real fight even gets started.
Welcome to today's Explainer, everyone. I'm Host A, and I've got our resident fishing expert, Coriander, with me. Today, we're going to completely cut through all the chaos of the fishing gear market. Our goal is super simple but incredibly powerful. We are going to help you build the ultimate, pro-level, perfectly balanced all-arounder setup. And the absolute best part? We are doing it without breaking the bank. All right, here's our blueprint for today. First, the gear overwhelm trap. Second, the Swiss Army knife rod. Third, the balanced logic. Fourth, the truth about pricing. And finally, number 5, the ultimate starter kit. Let's dive right in. Okay, section 1, the gear overwhelm trap, finding the foundational tool. So, Coriander, if I go online right now, I'm instantly bombarded with thousands of rod options, endless reel sizes, and completely conflicting advice. Honestly, it's totally overwhelming. I have no clue where to even start.
You know, that's exactly the trap most beginners fall right into. You don't need 50 highly specialized rods. You literally just need one single foundational tool, a 7-foot, medium to medium heavy power, fast action spinning rod. Whether you're throwing plastics for bass in a local lake or you're gearing up for Sri Lankan shore jigging and popping right off the coastal rocks, this one specific rod just completely eliminates the guesswork.
And the fishing community knows this for a fact. There's this experienced angler on Reddit, Hydrospanner, who hit the nail on the head. He called it the Swiss Army knife of fishing, the if you could only have one choice. Sure, you could drop serious cash on a highly specialized rod that's maybe 5% better at one tiny technique. But this rod, it does practically everything incredibly well, comfortably handling anything up to that 8 to 10 pound class of fish.
Right, but what does fast action actually mean in plain English?
Great question. It just means the carbon blank bends primarily right up at the tip, rather than bowing all the way down to the handle. This is absolutely crucial. It delivers immediate hook setting power, which you need whether you're using circle hooks in saltwater or driving a heavy jig home in freshwater, while still keeping a really stiff backbone lower down so you actually have the power to fight the fish.
When you break down these specific dimensions, they just sync up perfectly. The 7-foot length gives you the ideal leverage to really maximize your casting range for open water surf or shore jigging. The medium to medium heavy power is basically the sweet spot for effectively handling 15 to 30 pound braided line. But it's still forgiving enough if you ever need to downsize to lighter stuff. It truly bridges that gap between freshwater lakes and saltwater coasts.
Moving on to section 2, the balanced logic. Physics of the perfect pair.
Listen, a great rod is completely useless if you ruin it with the wrong reel. Your rod and reel are a physics system. The absolute biggest mistake you can make is buying a $500 premium rod and slapping a cheap $20 reel on it, or vice versa. You really want a 1-to-1 value ratio to ensure your setup is properly balanced. Think about it. If you stick a heavy reel on a light rod, it completely kills the sensitivity and ruins any delicate lure presentations. On the flip side, putting a light reel on a heavy rod, that just makes fighting a fish feel like a clumsy wrestling match because you totally lack the torque to handle its runs.
The gear experts over at Goofish put together this awesome breakdown showing exactly how to match your rod's power to your reel's drag rating. If you're running that medium-heavy versatile rod we just established, you need a reel that outputs 6 to 8 pounds of drag for freshwater and around 12 to 18 pounds of drag for saltwater. If you match these specific numbers, you practically eliminate line breakage altogether.
The second half of that balanced logic is what we call spin rate synergy. A fast-action rod pairs best with a high gear ratio reel, something like a 6.2 to 1 retrieve. Why? Because when you cast out a jig and need to snap it off the bottom quickly, or a fish makes a really aggressive run right at you, that high gear ratio lets you recover slackline instantly. It keeps the tension perfectly tight so the fish absolutely cannot shake the hook.
Let's hit section 3, the truth about pricing, bypassing the markup.
Wait a second, 40 to 60%? There is no way that's right, just for retail markup?
Oh, it absolutely is. That is the standard retail markup in the outdoor product industry. And trust me, the big brands do not want you thinking about it. That shiny new fishing rod sitting on a rack for $100, it actually only costs the shop about $40 to $60 to buy. The entire rest of that price is purely markup just to cover the middleman.
Seriously, when you buy name brand gear, a massive portion of your hard-earned cash is just paying for their giant advertising budgets, their sponsorships, and their flashy logos. But if you look at private label gear or direct-to-consumer bundles, you'll often find identical specifications, the exact same carbon fiber blanks, and identical bearings. You get way better value because you completely skip that brand tax.
Wow, that makes total sense. As the experts at Cobham River Lodge point out, you should adjust gear to these factors, not just brand hype. Some premium products remain marketing fluff. I mean, the fish swimming under the water definitely don't care what logo is printed on the side of your rod. They only care about how the lure is presented. So a smart, frugal approach gets you the exact same performance where it actually counts.
All right, Section 4, the ultimate starter kit. You are ready to rig Blueprint.
Instead of buying everything piecemeal and risking a bad mismatch, let me share the ultimate hack for maximizing both your fishing time and your budget. It's the Coriander Starter Kit, also known as the Weihai Power Pack, which you can easily grab on platforms like Daraz. This curated bundle includes that 7-foot medium-fast rod, a perfectly balanced reel hitting that sweet 1-to-1 value ratio, pre-spec'd braided line, an abrasion-resistant fluorocarbon leader, and a box of essential lures and tackle. By cutting out the brand markup entirely, you are getting pro-level gear at beginner prices. You'll be rigged and ready for absolutely anything, from local bass to demanding Sri Lankan shore jigging.
Now, before you actually hit the water with your new setup, I challenge you to run this super quick 5-minute test recommended by Goofish. Step 1. Cast a dummy weight 50 yards out to ensure the line flows smoothly without tangles. Step 2. Set your drag to exactly 25% of your line's test rating. Step 3. Pull the line and make sure you're getting no more than 2 inches of movement at the rod tip. And finally, Step 4. Put a heavy bend in it to verify that the reel's drag actually gives out before the rod blank reaches its breaking point.
You know, if your setup passes that test, you are mathematically and physically ready to land the fish of a lifetime. I've got to say, I've gone from being completely overwhelmed by thousands of online choices to having a crystal clear, actionable blueprint. So take a hard look at your tackle before your next trip. Ask yourself, is your gear actually designed to catch fish, or was it just designed to catch you in the store? Audit your setup with this balanced logic, rig less, and catch a whole lot more. Thanks for joining us. I'll see you on the water.